Hi. I'm live, I guess. That's pretty cool. We're gonna start gaming. It said we. I'm not that narcissistic. There may be someone here. I may have my own real-life bucket who also doesn't know what that reference is. So, yeah. Anyway. See you soon. Love you. Okay, big reveal. It's me. I'm on the stream today.
Oh my god, Ali's special guest Ali.
Special guest me.
On his own show.
On my own show? I was just live like 12 hours ago. Which isn't supposed to be correct. Usually there should be like a 24-hour gap, I feel like, between when you were last live. At least like 18 hours. Not like 12 hours.
Any number that'll round up to 24 hours.
Yeah. But I'm back. Sooner than expected. Sooner than wanted. Because... what is in chat? Do you think there's any point in talking when you know for certain that no one is watching?
How many viewers are there?
There's one. I'm telling you, no one's in chat. All of these people who are in the viewer list are like, there's you. You're here. This guy's like a fucking asshole. Let's look at this guy.
Don't say that about our one viewer.
He's not our viewer. He's a piece of shit. Look. No, because look, go to About Me.
We're really gonna just bully some, like...
I don't think they can see it.
Random person.
No, it's not. Look, because...
Hey, they have a non-zero number of followers. You can't mess with them.
No, but if they're not watching me, it's the thing. They're just in my chat. It's like a thing.
They could be watching. They could be watching me live.
No, they're not watching. They had a thing. Maybe it was a different person. This is not a real person.
Person does not actually.
We haven't even named them, so it doesn't. They don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say they're not watching. I promise you, they're okay. If you're watching, type 1 in chat. I do this. It's not a bit. I just want to see if it's there, and I've never gone to anyone to type 1. See, it's you. And you almost broke the stream while you did it. Oh my god. What are you doing? No, you can't. Yeah, I see that.
We have a viewer. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Estakinator guy. Estakinator.
How do you pronounce that?
Estakinator.
Oh, what a cool link. Did you not know about this?
No, I didn't.
Estakinator.
Or I've seen that video.
Estakinator. Estakinator. Estakinator.
That's such a weird way to pronounce it though. Like, I don't know why you put two different...
It's like the... that's like how French person say it. The Estakinator. Because that's kind of, I think, subtly... what? I'm gonna turn off the mic. I just gave Kai a mini linguistics lecture.
Language.
Could you imagine? No one is here. Should we start just playing the game?
Yeah, I think. Good idea. Really? One
Not
viewer.
zero. You're I'm here. It's kind of like a... Maybe when the bucket shows up, you'll figure out what's up.
The bucket will happen.
Yeah. Surely the bucket will.
It's weird to see myself.
No, the weird thing, it's not that you're seeing yourself on the camera, it's that it's not a mirror.
Yeah.
Please enter the current time. Well, I did that last week.
Now that you know what time zone you live in, now we can dox you, all one of us.
They already know. I say it. I said it was 5 a.m.
I think you have to go keep increasing the hour until.
Fuck you.
Based on this information, we can now infer your address.
I don't have any windows, so they can't do. That's like the real 4chan shit. Hang on. Before we get started, can I say something? Thank you for actually setting the clock both times you've booted up the game. A lot of people don't take the time, take that step seriously. They just leave it at 12 and call it a day. But you're actually taking the time to set the clock, and I appreciate that. That's how I know that you care about this experience. You're paying attention. I don't even have any way of knowing if the times you're setting are correct. Tell you what, I'll make you a deal. Since you've been so cooperative, next time you boot up the game and see this screen, just set your clock to your favorite time. Go ahead, pick whichever time you want, even if it's not the correct time, you've earned it. Alright, I'll let you back to the video game now.
That's crazy.
That's so funny. That's so funny.
That has to be wrong though. There has to be a way for them to like know the
I
time.
think that they can't know. I think they just don't check it. Which is very funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess there's no hiding it.
There's no hiding it.
This is actually the Stanley Parable 2.
Stanley Parable 2. Wait.
I don't know.
Is this part of the new update? Like.
Yeah, so we went through a whole like E3 type place where the narrator showed us a bunch of broken features that he was working on.
Mm-hmm.
And
this
then...
is the story of a man named Stanley.
Does the version number just change? Like.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee.
I don't know, we added a bunch of stuff. I think, well, I'll show you.
427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard.
Yeah.
Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Middle of nowhere.
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
We got an achievement, welcome back. That's for playing the game, for opening the game 2 times.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
So you see...
Stanley decided to go to the
one of the
meeting
things
room.
we got to... Well, we didn't get to choose. He gave us an option between 2 types of balloons to decorate the office with, and he picked the other one. Whichever one you pick, I think he picks the other one.
No matter how hard Stanley looked,
do you know about this
couldn't
on there?
find a trace of his co-workers.
Oh, can you walk? Oh. What?
Yeah.
At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map, until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be?
You like this?
Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in?
Oh god.
Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet?
What do you think?
Oh my god. No.
Ah, then in that case, we'll continue. But now, here comes the real question. What do you think would have happened if you had told me that you wanted this to stop? Do you think it would have been particularly different? Would I have taken the same idea but rephrased it superficially to fit that answer? Perhaps you never would even have thought of it if I hadn't brought up the issue in the first place. Oh, now think about it. Will it be worth it for you to restart and then come back here just to do the other option? Clearly, this whole gag takes some time.
Oh god.
What if the other option is even longer? How long will you spend in total just to have heard all the narration? Oh, and this is rich. Perhaps you've just played the other option, and now you've come to see what happens in this one. So, what do you think? Which choice was the better one? Imagine if you had selected continue on your first playthrough, how tantalizing it would be not knowing what happens when you pick the other option. Indeed, you are one of the lucky ones. Though if the other option is really miserable to listen to, then perhaps you're not. In fact, I'm just going to say that no one who's listening to this is lucky. Well now, I've built up the other option so much that I'm going to stop talking and leave you to your decision whether to come back here, continue with the game, or just sit in this spot forever and ever. Cheers.
So then you have to restart.
Oh, there's no way out.
No.
Oh.
All of his co-workers were gone.
So now,
what could it mean?
I'm gonna show
Stanley
you
decided to
what
go
I
to the
think
meeting room. Perhaps he had simply
is
missed
the
a
source
memo.
of the new content.
Wait, the other option's exactly the same, right?
No, it's some. He just like makes fun of you and sings like a song about how.
Where are we going today? The bucket
If you go back
asked.
for the second time.
Stanley just smiled.
So this is
Anywhere
the
they went
comfort
together
bucket.
Would be
So
perfectly
it's sort
fine
of
with him.
he realized that a lot of people, the narrator, realized that a lot of people had difficulty dealing with the very existential questions that the game posed. And so he thought maybe if you had like a companion bucket, that would sort of ease the pain.
Oh my god.
But what I've come to realize,
Stanley clung the bucket to his cheek. Could his co-workers really all be gone?
so it changes, I think, we'll see.
Yes, whispered the bucket into Stanley's ear. We've done it. We've escaped from that dull office and that pesky narrator. At last, out here in the white void, we are alone. Now, and for the first time, I can reveal to you my true self. The bucket began to tell Stanley of its life and its history, of the countless wars it witnessed, desecrating the land and lives of untold numbers of innocent humans, and the bucket's own complicity therein, of sadness and regret, and the many years it spent dwelling on the actions it might have taken to curb the madness and the decay, if only it had been stronger, of hope and redemption, and its crusade to uplift the stock of life for the common man, to manifest justice where none existed, and the bittersweet reality of time, to see one's dreams and wishes met halfway, meted out in parcels like charity, and abandoned as soon as the warm glow of inspiration begins to dim. The opportunities to do so much more. There was so much it could have done, perhaps, the bucket wondered to itself. Perhaps, if it had seen its own darkness with a clearer perception. This was way too much for Stanley. What are you talking about? He screamed. You're a bucket! To this, the bucket furrowed its brow. No, said the bucket. Not since the evil wizard Gambhorata first ensnared me in his machinations as payback for the sacred amulet I stole from his treasured
I've seen this
vaults.
something before.
I was young back then and could
This is
not
yesterday?
conceive
This
the
is yesterday.
ramifications of... No! Stanley screamed even louder this time. This is stupid! You are a bucket! This is so stupid! Why are we even doing this? As Stanley screamed and screamed and screamed, the bucket revealed its true form, transforming into a mighty beast of untold power, its fangs glistening like... Stanley, you did it. You saved us from the bucket. Thank God you already had all 12 emblems of sages and knew the incantations to summon their true power. Otherwise, we would have easily been overwhelmed by the bucket's power. I'm speechless. You've demonstrated such bravery here today. Come, let's restart the game, and we'll agree to never again go trifling with this bucket, nor the dark magic cast away inside of it.
So I think what the bucket does is the requirements for all the endings seem to be the same, but you get a different ending by doing it while holding the bucket.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
So
Just gotta play the entire game over, but we're holding the
All
bucket.
of his co-workers were gone.
Is the
What
bucket
did
still
it
gonna be
mean?
there?
yeah.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps a good bucket, a strong bucket, a humble bucket, a committed bucket, a bucket of culture.
So this
and
was where
prestige.
I would look in the camera. This is where it used to be.
Extra content. Oh, that's where the bucket was.
That was where the whole section was.
Yeah.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Sure.
So did he get every ending last time?
I got most of the normal endings.
Okay.
And then, so now we're gonna do the bucket versions. So also they added collectibles called Stannules or something. And so I've gotten 3 of them. Yeah, these are what they look like. So the narrator says the whole point is you just collect them, and then the fun of collecting them is just the collecting them. You don't get a reward for collecting them all. But on the wall there it says there will be a reward for finding them all. So we'll see how that goes. Oh, this is a broom closet.
Stanley, we must move on from this broom
Oh, I like
closet.
it.
So
Simply
you know the
because
broom
I have
closet
no
ending?
remaining stickers. If I did,
I remember
you
there
can
was an ending
guarantee we'd be
related to
in
it.
here
Yeah.
for hours. But alas,
Instead, I got
no
these 2 stickers from going into the broom closet. Because the broom closet thinks that it's entitled to the bucket because it's like a cleaning supply.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
So there was a Stannuel or whatever in here by the toilet.
Because the boss knows with it.
Because the boss knows what the boss says goes. If the boss suffered losses, then that's what the boss chose. Clever. There's this room. Do you want water?
I'm fine.
Well then, okay. I was gonna do a bit. That's not as funny if you don't.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once
Joke
again
averted.
stunned to
Joke
discover not
averted.
an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him always. The bucket would, and he knew it. The two of them, but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him?
Where did you
Yes, this is certainly the most
Says it,
logical
but
explanation.
Oh, here's a Stanley.
Yo.
Okay, I'm going back to the name of these little Stanley figurines, and now I'm torn between Stanlerines and
Stanlerines.
Figlers. What do you think, Stanley? What name better encapsulates the intrinsic sense of happiness that you get from seeing a small number in the corner of your screen go up by 1? Let me sit on it. I'm sure it will come to me.
So yeah, need 2 more, I guess. Oh yeah.
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
So I ended the last stream. I did
Stanley and the bucket
normal-
walked straight ahead through the
I just
large
listened
door
to
that
the whole
read
time.
Mind Control Facility.
And then we weren't able to escape because the building wanted to. The building couldn't.
The lights rose
Go on
an
without the
enormous
soothing power
room
of the
packed with
bucket.
television screens.
There's
What
also an ending
horrible
that you
secret
can
did
get
this
by
place
falling down
hold?
here.
Stanley and the bucket
kind of
both
new.
wondered to themselves. The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine. Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket
shit,
want to
everything just
do
fixate.
or not want to do
Yeah,
in the
but-
first place?
So stupid.
These questions
wait.
raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control, never! He squeezed the bucket tighter, his one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket.
Except for the bucket. Bucket's ride or die, day one.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he and... But at the last second, the bucket jumped in and pressed the button to turn on the controls. Stanley gasped in horror. Had this been the bucket's plan all along? To take over the machine and claim the power for itself? How
In the
could the
long
bucket have
it's mostly
betrayed him
just-
like this? Stanley was prepared to throw the bucket away in disgust when suddenly an image appeared upon the enormous screen. Birds. Silly, silly birds. The control buttons became active again.
God. Whoa.
Stanley flipped through one video of silly birds after another, and then it dawned on him. This wasn't a mind control facility at all. It was a facility for monitoring and surveilling silly birds all over the world.
Wow.
Selling birds.
The mind controls were only a facade to disguise its true intentions. Had the bucket known this all along? Stanley marveled at the metal genius in his hands, the one who had pointed him towards this incredible discovery. Stanley and the bucket never found freedom because they spent the rest of their lives here in this place, flipping through live streams of the silliest birds
Penguins.
imaginable.
That's silly bird.
Of
That's a
all
real
the
goofy
possible
bird.
paths his life could have taken, this one was surely the best. And Stanley was happy.
You're right.
Are you Stanley?
Where'd they go?
Okay.
No, no! I want to go back. Figurine. Ooh.
Well, no, that was
Figurine
just the
fights.
meeting. There's a bunch of shit in the room. Yeah, so
All
there's
his
a,
co-workers were
there's
gone.
a bunch of happy
What could
12th
it mean?
birthday.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
Uh-huh.
Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Ah, the embrace of an old friend.
So-
A weathered companionship that stands the test of time. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his
Go
chest
this way.
and entered the door. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be. No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
Does that path just merge back into as the chief hall director?
Yeah, it merges back, but then there's also a thing over there that you can do stuff with.
Okay.
No, said the bucket. Don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Good, said the bucket. Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do. Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked. In here, said the bucket. Go into this dark room over here. Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
This room seems pretty well lit. Oh, this room.
Now pick up the phone, said the bucket. Pick up the phone, and it will take us back home, where we can go about life together.
Yeah, it lights us up, you can see.
This is the sad story of a man named Stanley and his bucket.
Oh.
Once upon a time, I gave Stanley a bucket because I thought he was lonely and could use a friend. And then, very distressingly, he began to believe the bucket could speak to him.
What?
It's a different story.
Then what?
The last time.
The first, when you normally go in here, he roasts you and he pretends to be your wife.
Yeah.
Oh, I can move.
427B. Bucket.
Wait, where did you read bucket?
Oh no, just like 427B.
Oh.
I don't know if that's significant at all.
427, we're employee 427.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, there he is.
Bucket. Hey.
Hello, Stanley. It's me, your bucket. Press M to take me to work with you.
The Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket was merely meant to provide the comforting glow of companionship. It doesn't literally talk and give you orders. Whatever Stanley is hearing the bucket say to him is just in his head.
Press F to take me back home with you.
Lately, I've been concerned about him. Wouldn't you be concerned as well? To see him delusional like this, obsessing over an inanimate metal object? I want to say something to him, but I don't know how I can convince him. I don't know if he'll listen to me.
Press L to go back to work.
L.
Oh, I'll try anyway. Stanley, can you hear me? Listen to me. It's just a bucket. It can't think, it can't talk. All it will ever truly do for you is effectively transfer a liquid from one location to a different location. That's it. It doesn't do anything else.
Don't listen to the loud man. Press V for us to go back home.
You see, he's not listening. He's still taking orders from the bucket. You know, once upon a time it was me he took orders from. Me he trusted and listened to. Now all he cares about is his awful bucket. This stupid hunk of metal.
Wait. Okay. Press T to ignore anyone in your life except for me.
It's sad, but I suppose he doesn't need me anymore. From now on, he's just going to cling to this bucket, this cold, empty bucket, this sort of shiny bucket. Well, I'll give it this. The bucket does have a nice shine to it.
You believe I'm real, don't you, Stanley? Press T to go back home.
Yes, I suppose on closer inspection that it doesn't quite look like your average hardware store bucket.
Yeah.
It's just a little more, what am I trying to say? Sturdier, more capable of transporting liquid. Like it would be better at moving an amount of water from one room to another.
Jazz music. The bucket. That's a bucket in the poster.
Oh, yeah. Press Y to relive this same day over and over with me. Sure.
Oh my God, what am I saying? better at carrying water from room to room. It's a bucket. It's literally just a bucket. Why do I feel some need to point out the ways in which it's so much more than just a regular bucket?
Press B to go home to work to home to work to home.
Oh no. I'm having feelings. For the bucket. No. What's going on? Why do I want to be with the bucket? Hear what the bucket has to say. Do anything it asks. What's wrong with me? I don't understand. Perhaps if I had the bucket, this would be less confusing. Yes. The bucket could tell me what to do in this troublesome situation.
Oh wait, there's another jazz poster in the bucket.
What could this mean?
Stanley, give me the bucket. Give it to me. Give me the bucket, Stanley. I need it. Give it to me now. Give it or
Close
I'll...
your eyes. Oh. Monka W, is this a horror game? Go back to work, Stanley. Count me. No, it's not a horror game. It's Now we're just in an office. See?
All of his co-workers were gone.
Let's see. No, it's not. I promise, it's not. It just is. It's just weird. It's not scary. It's just weird. We were just having like an emotional moment to the bucket. Okay, hold on. Let me fix this fucking all caps shit. I forgot about this. I don't know why. I didn't mean to do it. Spam protection. Disable. Sorry about that. Access emails disable. Wait. Okay.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Bucket.
The bucket made Stanley want to be a better man and a better co-worker. In time, perhaps, he would become both of those things. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was it? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left.
In the
to go
normal
back to the
thing,
meeting room.
you can wait for 600 seconds. Oh,
Jeez.
Can I untime? How do I untime out? Untime out, Mickey. There we go. If that's you saying that, sorry, Mickey. You can unplug
Don't go
the
to the
phone.
meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo. Good, said the bucket. Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do. Stanley did not question why or how this bucket
What
was
is this
speaking.
bucket? So you saw
It
that
showed
was the
alarmed
first
him,
thing
of
I
course,
saw
because buckets can't
was
speak.
that the
But
out
Stanley
of bounds
chose not
ending.
to think about this obvious fact.
Where he's like,
He was firmly
I am the
convinced that
evil
bucket
wizard,
had spoken to him,
Gumgagloo.
and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
So, is he? What is
In
this?
here, said the bucket. Go into this dark room over here. Stanley once again obeyed blindly. Now pick up the phone. Whoa, hold on. Why did you unplug the phone? Were you trying to resist the bucket's orders? Stanley, I was joking. Obviously, the bucket isn't talking to you and telling you to do things. Buckets can't talk. It was a joke. Don't you get the joke? It's funny, Stanley. A talking bucket. Can't you see? Oh, goodness. I must have really bungled up the delivery if you actually took me seriously. Where did I mess up the joke? Should I have paused for longer or spoken quicker? Comedic timing is so difficult. I wish I were better at it. But there isn't exactly an instructional video on comedy that one can watch to fully... Oh, wait, yes, there is. It's sitting right here. Let's take a look.
Let's see.
What is comedic timing? What is comedic timing? How does it work? How long should it last? How can it be used to effectively silence your political enemies?
Oh, that's fun.
And more importantly, can it be taught in its entirety within 90 seconds? Thankfully, the answer to all of these questions is yes. Let's dive deeper. If you've ever told a joke or made someone laugh, in all likelihood, you did it while standing 50 to 80 centimeters from them in a room of no more than 76 degrees Fahrenheit, with one of your arms raised straight upward at a 15-degree angle from your body. These are the optimal conditions for good comedic timing. To begin the joke, start by stating and spelling your name. Next, provide a brief synopsis of the joke, including the specific times at which the recipient of the joke will laugh, and then spell out your name a second time. With these steps complete, it's time to begin the humor. Speak the entire joke in no more than 18 seconds and no less than 13 and a half, pausing only for bathroom breaks when necessary. When the joke has concluded, it is customary to inform your listener that the joke is over by declaring in your loudest possible voice, "I'm Dunny with the funny." Let's practice screaming, "I'm Dunny with the funny" now.
I'm Dunny with the funny.
Good. This saying is a perfect example of expectations management, which is the cornerstone of good comedy. Finally, it's time to hand out surveys. Collecting hard data from your audience on how rapt they were throughout the joke is the only way to grow or learn as a comedian. An effective survey should be no less than 10 pages long and should include the same question reprinted several times, just to ensure the survey taker is actually paying attention and not simply filling in answers at random. And that's all there is. With these strategies at your disposal, you'll have audiences doubled over in laughter and even tripled over in laughter in no time at all.
Wow.
Just remember to let them stop laughing at some point, you gut-busting little scamp. After all, we're each of us needed on the front lines of the war to fight the 12-legged invader who threaten our very existence and who very likely die in a hailstorm of
There's a
bullets
lot of
and
wars
mandibles.
going on in this
All
game.
of us must
Yeah.
be prepared to give our
Did you
lives
see
to
the
this noble
Dracula War?
cause,
The time
just as our
Dracula
children
Wars?
must do after us, and their children after them. Godspeed, and may Earth reign supreme. Hey, goodness, this video is a little outdated, isn't it? Well, no matter. I think the fundamentals of proper comedic timing are still as relevant today as they were back then. So with that in mind, I believe the only way forward is for us to return to the two doors and walk through all of this again, so I can try telling my story with more appropriate comedic delivery. Come along, let's head back.
Right. Oh, okay.
Back to the two doors. Backwards. Interesting. You still jump off.
No, the railing.
I can feel it. This time, I'm really going to nail the delivery. You'll be in stitches. A talking bucket, you'll say? How ridiculous. How absurd. What a hilarious concept. The king of comedy. That's what you'll call me. Thank goodness we had the instructional video. Otherwise, who knows where we'd be right now. Well, I wouldn't be the king of comedy, that's for sure. The bucket spoke to Stanley. The bucket spoke. The bucket spoke. Oh, I'll figure it out on the fly. No need to overthink things.
What's that? No,
What?
like, oh, okay, never mind. That's wrong. The replay. Live, you're lying right now. Yeah, I can read it.
Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left.
Oh.
What? We're on the phone already? No. What's going on? There were supposed to be several rooms leading up to this. There was supposed to be a build-up to this point, a dramatic display of remarkable
18
comedic
seconds.
wit which culminates in this scene with the phone. But now the timing's completely off. The joke will never land, or not the way it was meant to. And it's all my fault. I must have forgotten that the phone room comes immediately after the two doors room. What an egregious mistake. I've made a fool of myself. I don't deserve the title of King of Comedy. I'm nothing. I'm not even the lowliest joke-telling whelp. I think I need to go back and rewatch that instructional video again. Yes, surely that will help me improve my... Here we go. You ready?
Okay.
When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left.
Again. Oh.
What? We're back at the phone already?
Same thing.
No.
Okay.
Here we go. You ready?
Same.
When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left.
One more try.
What? We're back at the phone already? No. Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left.
Can you jump in this game?
No.
No,
Not without the jump
no.
circle.
You were supposed to go through the door on the right, leading back to the phone. Did you not even look at the instructional video? I think this is all covered very clearly. There's no way I can make the comedic timing work now. It's done. The joke is completely done and over. It's all your fault, Stanley. I'm going to be ridiculed in the community of other joke writers. I'm going to be shamed at every one of our meetings from now on. All because you couldn't watch a simple video and take a hint. Are you proud of yourself for bringing me down, Stanley? Are you proud?
Broom closet?
Stanley, you love the bucket so much it's like you... it's as though all of your other most prized possessions pale in comparison. Yes.
So normally this is the confusion ending.
I heard that you are pale
Okay.
with shame over how unabashedly in love with a bucket you are. No? Still not?
Wait, so even without the
It is a
bucket, if you
delivery.
like unplug the phone,
Pale with shame.
you get
Pale
the...
with shame.
No, you get a different ending.
Pale.
Okay.
What's
But
another word
I'm telling you, the
for bucket?
requirements for all the endings are the
This
same.
bucket is so
But the
mental.
endings themselves
Sounds
keep
like
changing.
Story playing guitar. No.
But like,
We're getting
in
away
the
from
version
the
without the bucket, you could do a similar thing and just randomly walk into the broom closet at this...
No, I don't think it was the broom closet. I think it was just...
I need more
Okay.
instructional videos. That's exactly what it is. That's what will make me the
Confusion
king
ending.
of comedy again. More instructional
Maybe not.
videos.
I don't know.
Let's see.
Do you know all the endings?
Sort of. Oh,
Oh.
this is new.
Not everyone is so lucky to have a bucket, but Stanley is a very lucky fellow. Very lucky indeed. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
What do you want to do?
Oh god, actual choice. Okay, what do I think is gonna happen? I think,
This is not... I that doesn't mean anything.
yeah, I think that wasn't correlated to the fact that we just got the confusion ending. And that's just like a random chance.
That's just like a random thing.
Let's go left.
What is there to do left? Okay, we can do... I know which one we can do.
Okay. A large room, lots of boxes.
I don't know where to... I kind of know where they are. I don't know. I know where one of them is. Go to the broom closet.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation. Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
This way.
That way. Ah.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death. The door behind them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley and the bucket were knowingly walking forward into a very painful death for each of them.
Wow.
The end is never the end.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley and the bucket inched closer to their demise, Stanley reflected on how meaningless the bucket's warmth and comfort had turned out to be. To be sure, it puts the mind and the soul at ease to embrace the bucket, but what use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death? This is what Stanley thought to himself, and he sort of kicked himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket everywhere. Farewell, Stanley.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, the bucket's life came to an end, as it was crushed violently to death.
Oh, this is new.
Really?
So normally, that part is not new. That's, I think originally this game was a mod. The original version of Stanley Parable was like a mod for like Half-Life or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then that was the original narrator. And
Yep.
then it would take you to this like museum. Oh wait, maybe not.
It was a shame, the death of such a magnificent
Okay.
bucket. It's true that all buckets are radiant in their own way, but this one stood above the rest. It was a glorious bucket to behold.
So it takes. Last time it took you to a museum.
You're standing on a precipice of knowledge, much like a bucket atop the human mind is frequently empty within a cavernous void. Through use of enrichment and substantiated. Knowledge of the bucket and its history is the only true knowledge we really have. Will you take what you learn here out with you into the world? Will you accept with an open mind what may be challenging about the information in this exhibit? Will you change the lives of yourself and your loved ones as a result of this exhibit? Or will you turn a blind eye and continue to live as you were in ignorance and darkness? Huh.
So normally, this museum is just. It has a bunch of
Can
stuff
you
about
see
the
how
game.
arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket like this and to claim it for his own? Can you see the hubris that blinded him? Can you see that the bucket is far more noble than Stanley will ever be in his short life?
There it goes.
Is that your bucket?
Calling it my bucket is a little bit misogynistic. A photograph of 25 buckets, the greatest number of buckets ever captured on camera. The photographer experienced catatonic shock for several weeks as a result of the euphoria from the exposure to this many buckets at once.
All 25 of them. Wow.
Wow. So that one's up there.
Bucket with 2 handles. Fuck.
This bucket is depicted as having 2 handles. Such a design has never been created in real life, having been deemed too dangerous and recklessly experimental. Every year, dozens of buckets are.
Dozens are put to death just for attempting.
Is this like Latin or something?
I feel like it's upside down.
I think it's backwards.
Oh, that was. Or no, it's supposed to be the Da Vinci.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Da
that's
Vinci.
right.
Da Vinci dimension. Inferno bucket, which was so powerfully alluring that it drove dozens of nations to war with one another for control of it. Billions died, yet in spite of all of it, the simple fact remains no one can control a bucket.
The stress bucket.
Worrying, negative forecasting, negative thinking, lack of reassurance equals
Vulnerability equals size and strength of the bucket. Coping strategies holes. Stress is the level of water in the bucket. Wait, so stress bucket, an analogy, no commentary. It's just like
if you're trying to find something in that item. Cave drawing. While we know that buckets predate the existence of mankind, we don't know for how long. This cave drawing depicts early man discovering the practical uses of the bucket, by which time the bucket had already likely been around for several millennia. Hi, glazed BS.
I can't read that name.
I think I know who that is. And I don't know if they should be in chat. Notice in these drawings how the bucket is allowing itself to be used, having judged humanity to be worthy of its treasures. So, yeah, this is a cave drawing. We got the gazelle. So, oh, this is like a crack, and then the
Hey, the bucket made.
wow.
Crazy.
No man can own a bucket, and certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this one. It is man who should kneel before the bucket.
I'm not leaving. Yeah. Well. The hanging bucket. This piece symbolizes the necessary relationship between the bucket and humanity. However clear our grasp of the bucket may be, there is yet more that is always out of reach. This distance is inevitably for our own good.
Hanging.
Oh.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know what this means.
One of the things in the E3 area was the infinite hole.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
What do you mean by the
E3
area?
The like area where he was like talking about the testing things. Oh.
But there is something we can do. Something we can do together, you and I, that will right this terrible wrong. Let Stanley die. Let him be crushed by the machine. Don't reset the game. Don't give him another opportunity
normally,
to run off with another
she tells you to
bucket.
quit the game
We can save
when
the
you're by
world's buckets
yourself.
from
That's
their
the only
treatment
real
as
choice.
tools and implements if only we let Stanley die together. The bucket shall take its place as ruler, as leader, as commander of a new world, a new vision.
Cool.
Jeez.
Oh, jeez. Hold on, let's see. Let's look at the numbers. 3! That's such a cool number.
3 whole viewers.
Sheesh. Well, it was 1, but there's 0, so it's probably more like 2.
Stanley had never seen the office.
And if
this
that is
badly
1,
lit.
then it's probably
Was it a
like...
sign of something? He hoped it
There
was.
are no viewers.
He hoped very much
There's
that
less
it
than
was.
less than no viewers.
Let me take the base. Let's go.
It takes a lot of humility
I think that's
to
all
carry a
of the
bucket so
endings.
magnificent. Stanley checked his ego and then proceeded onward. Stanley clutched the bucket
that
tightly
side.
to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be.
I'm telling
And
my
here it
friends to
was.
come to
Had
the
the
stream.
bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley
Go
thought to
for it.
himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
Do you want to read this?
Do not lie. If you're lying right now, stop.
No, said the bucket. Don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. A cargo lift. Yeah, good, said the bucket. Now ride the lift all the way to the top.
There's a Stanley.
There's something up there I need you to do. But Stanley feared that any path he walked might lead to the separation of himself and the bucket, his dearest friend.
I have to get
So
the
he threw
Stanley.
himself to his death, that they might die in one another's arms. How deeply touching.
Sorry. I need to go back and get him.
All of his co-workers were gone.
I actually want
What
to
could
see
it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
if we don't grab the bucket.
Like we'll still
When
need it.
Stanley
Yeah.
came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop
Yeah,
by
I
the
get it.
employee lounge first, just to admire it.
The layout doesn't
Standing
change.
now in this incredible room, Stanley for the first time understood true happiness. Then the feeling went away, and he felt but eager to get back to business. Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
It is.
Ooh.
Stanley.
You're getting close now, Stanley. You've nearly gotten all of the Figler and Marines. Very soon, you'll collect the last one, and then the first number will equal the second number, and that will be it.
Imagine.
We'll be different people by then. Different in the sense that we used to have none of them, and now we have them all. You can't go back to when you had no Figler and Marines. None of us can.
So now do I just...
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and
You see, it's
plunged
the
to his
same...
death.
You do the
Good
same
job,
thing, but you get a
Stanley.
different thing.
Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
Everyone thinks I'm powerful.
Powerful man.
Stanley cradled the bucket in a gentle embrace.
Quick save.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better
Do you know
than
where
the
the
meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to
Yes.
himself. Yes, perhaps
think.
it... No, never mind. The
It
bucket
was
was
somewhere red and
wrong.
blue.
Stanley
Yeah.
took the
What
door
am
on
I
his
going to
left
right now?
to go back to the meeting room. No,
Happy
said the
12th
bucket.
birthday,
Don't
Stanley.
go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift. Good, said the bucket. Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do. Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
Danger, danger everywhere.
No, stop. Look there on the wall. You see, there's a sign right there. It says, no buckets past this point. Stanley, how could you
Is it
think it was
always there?
okay to bring the bucket here?
I don't think so.
What if the problem is that you actually don't know what is a bucket and what isn't a bucket? I suppose that would explain a lot about your behavior up to this point. Which, if that's true, well, my goodness, I think we have to do something about it. This misunderstanding could have dire consequences on the entire rest of the game if not addressed quickly and properly. So much of the impact of the story is dependent on your understanding of what is and isn't a bucket. Please, step in here for a moment.
Oh.
Now then, I'm going to run you through some test scenarios, and you'll tell me whether or not the thing I'm showing you is a bucket. Simple enough, right? This should tell us everything we'll ever need to know about what is or is not a bucket. Okay, let's begin. Item 1. Is this a bucket?
Wait,
I don't know, is it?
Do I say the truth or do I just hit no?
Incorrect. It is a hologram of a bucket, not an actual bucket. Item 2. Is this a bucket?
It's in the hologram.
Incorrect. It is a 3D printed recreation of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
Third time's the charm.
Item 3. Is
Third
this
time's
a
gotta be
bucket?
right.
That's also.
It's not no, bruh. I told you. It's gotta be a bucket.
Oh,
Correct. This is a bucket.
Told you. You're the idiot, bro.
oh.
Item 4. Is this a bucket?
I don't know.
What?
Are you hallucinating? This is a tractor. It's an enormous machine that tills the earth. I thought this was a
Bro,
gimmick.
you can't even
How on
say
earth did you
ass.
manage to screw it up?
You gotta type
Absolutely
ass.
incredible. Let's just move on to the next one. Is this a bucket?
No.
Incorrect. This is
Oh, I see. Yeah. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Item 6. Is this a bucket?
That's a bucket.
Trick question. Both. Gotcha.
What? What is it?
Item... Wait, hold on. I can't find the next one. Let me see. It should be around here somewhere. Yes. Thank you. There's nothing here. Of course it isn't a bucket. We both know full well that nothing isn't a bucket. Wait, when I say nothing isn't a bucket, that makes it sound like I'm saying everything is a bucket, which of course is not true. Unless... Is that what you think? Answer me straight, Stanley. Are you trying to tell me that you believe everything is a bucket? You know what? I'm too confused to even sort it out. I've lost all sense of perspective. What is a bucket? What isn't a bucket? Mere moments ago I could answer these questions with confidence. And yet now I'm somewhat adrift. Do any of us know what a bucket is?
Mind game.
Am I a bucket?
This is truly a...
Stanley, I can't keep doing this. I'm losing myself, and myself was all I ever had to begin with. I'm
What did he
afraid the
ask?
bucket is threatening to tear our
Oh.
relationship apart. I can't have that. I'm sorry. But I'm going to erase all buckets from the game entirely.
What?
Okay, here we go.
Wait, what?
Oh no.
The bucket!
What happened? Is everything gone? Why did everything disappear? Wait, was everything a bucket? Every single thing in the game was a bucket. Oh my God, I had no idea. How could... Except me. I'm not a bucket after all. And you, Stanley, you're still here.
I
You're
think
not a
therefore
bucket
I'm a
either.
bucket.
Oh, this is wonderful.
No, I
news.
think therefore
Or
I
I'm
am
Of
not a
course.
bucket.
Yeah.
Yes, I actually feel much more at ease right now. It's delightful to get some clarity on that issue, but it doesn't change the fact that we haven't got a game. So, tell you what, I'll reset everything and we'll put back all of the buckets, okay? And we'll know that it's all a bucket. But if you run into anyone else, maybe don't mention that. Who knows what that information might do to a person? All right, here we go.
This isn't good, rather sus. This is very sus. Like Amogus? Oh, we're in the different office again.
All of his
Again.
co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Bucket.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply... Stanley's bucket. The only co-worker he would ever truly need. Stanley clutched the bucket
Look at the
tightly
back
to
rooms.
his chest and
What?
entered the
Look,
door.
this looks like the
on his
back
left.
rooms.
Yeah. I'm gonna go this
This
way.
was not the correct way to the meeting room.
Gotta find
But
the last
Stanley had
thing.
felt the bucket calling
Oh, I
him,
shouldn't have grabbed the
telling
bucket
him
then.
that the employee lounge was simply
We'll do
the
another
place
ending and
to
then I
be.
think
And
the
here it
red and
was.
blue
Had the
doors should
bucket
be over
turned
there.
out to be
But
correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back, and so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
Me in the bucket, going on adventures.
Oh, good Stanley, I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually.
Oh! It's the adventure
your
line!
friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you
My
very
friends,
much.
the baby,
It's this
the
bucket
adventure
you're
line,
carrying
the
around
broom
everywhere.
closet,
The
my
bucket
computer.
isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just
You're right.
sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the adventure line and the broom closet. Because that's what
Oh, and the
fans want
fern.
from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before. Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story involving the adventure line? We could make the adventure line go
stuck.
somewhere new. Yes, yes, that's what the fans want. Let's do it.
Wait, I'm stuck.
Are you stuck?
Step bro, help! Step bro! Okay, I guess we gotta restart.
Down.
Stanley is a bucket. No, we just learned that he wasn't a bucket. You weren't even paying
All of
attention.
his co-workers were
Give
gone.
up.
That was the whole
Good
thing.
game. Stanley decided to go to the
Okay,
meeting
I'll go
room.
get. Do you want the
Perhaps he had
Stanley
simply
Marine or do you
missed a
want
memo.
to see that ending?
That's. I kind of want to see that ending.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is Stanley without the bucket really Stanley at all? No,
I wonder
surely
if
not.
the.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was
I'm
simply
worried I
the
might
place
get
to
something
be.
if I complete
And
all
here
of
it
this.
was. Had
If
the
I get
bucket
all the
turned out to
Stanley.
be correct?
Okay,
No,
yeah.
never mind.
We wouldn't want
The
that.
bucket was wrong.
That's the plot twist.
Stanley
The
took
narrator's
door on his
lying.
left
That's not how
to
plot
go
twists
back,
work.
And so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section.
You can't just
and walked
lie
straight
and then
ahead
that's a
to the
plot twist.
opposite door.
You have to like. You have to trick them without lying. That's the fun part.
Plot twist? I was
Oh,
blind.
good Stanley. I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually. You see, your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very much. It's this bucket you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket
Should go
isn't
back
even
over.
from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content.
Oh, God.
We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the adventure line and the broom closet. Because that's what fans
Look at
want
the
from a
lighting.
sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this
Wait.
bucket that they've never seen before. Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much
Did
time
I
with it.
ask?
Don't you want another story involving the adventure line?
don't think
We
so.
could make the adventure line go somewhere new. Yes, yes, that's what the fans want. Let's do it. Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well.
TM.
Yeah. See the adventure line music?
Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about.
good music.
Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue? Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers. Yes, it's as classic now as it was back
That was
then.
one of the
Let's
lines.
do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up.
What? I can't give up the bucket. Need it.
Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket. That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character. This is the Bucket Destroyer. I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me, it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree? Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does?
Does
Surely you
it-
don't need me to spell it out for you. Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready.
Wait,
Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I don't know what the bucket destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows. That is its singular personality trait. Sure, I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters? Well, you see, if you were to really explore the bucket destroyer, you would see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits. What other object in this game can you even say that about? The broom closet? Certainly not. I wonder what sort of bucket destroyer merchandise the fans will be clamoring for after this. Okay, the bucket destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed it. We can't get back to the classic Stanley Parable characters like the Adventure Line or the bucket destroyer until you crush that damn bucket. Quickly now, the fans are waiting. Do it, the fans, Stanley. Give the fans what they want. Hurry and...
I didn't.
I think he should have crushed the bucket. Oh.
The bucket destroyer. My prized creation. You had so much potential. We were going to do such marvelous things with you, tell such spellbinding stories about you. All of it squandered now. Goodbye, new friend. For the moment in time that you were here, you were magnificent.
Wow. Oh?
Fade to black.
Okay, let's try and destroy the bucket now. Because I was pressing E.
As Stanley lifted his bucket,
But I don't know if I
a
have to press
connection
it like
to
a
all
bunch or
buckets
something.
everywhere.
We're not able to
This
destroy it.
Stanley
I didn't.
clutched the bucket
I
tightly
pressed
to
it
his
once
chest. This
and
was
then
not
it
the correct
pulled
way
it
to the
towards
meeting
me.
room.
But I don't know if I have
Stanley
to like
had felt
mash
the
E or
bucket
something.
calling to him,
Okay.
telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go, and so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
It'll be ugly.
Oh, good Stanley. I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually.
Now we're white. That's
Oh, wait.
You see, your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very much. It's this bucket you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the
So is the
Adventure
bucket
Line
the
and the
entirety of
Broom
the sequel?
Closet.
Like, if you
Because
stop-
that's what fans
do an
want from a
adventure without a
sequel.
bucket?
They want
It's
more
from
of
the
their
original.
favorite
Okay.
jokes, not this bucket that they've never
I
seen
think there's
before.
one thing.
Yes, I know I'm
that
the
was
one
like
who
a
gave
bug
you the
before, and
bucket,
then
but
they
you're
added
spending
it.
too much time with it.
They
Don't
added
you
it,
want
I think,
another
to it.
story
But there's
involving
also a
the
bucket
Adventure
version of
Line?
that.
We could make the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes,
trapped?
yes, that's what the fans want. Let's
No.
do it.
Allie, are you trapped?
No, no. I just didn't like. I just want to see the office again.
Just a step through this door, Stanley thought to himself. That's all I need. If I can make it through
Is that
that,
just a
what
random
new
occurrence,
mysteries
like
lay in
Blue Office?
store for our bucket-loving
Yeah.
heroes today? Let's find out.
It's quirky like that.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Well, no, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back, and so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
Stanley!
Oh, good Stanley. I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually. You see, your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very much. It's this bucket you're carrying around everywhere. the bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet. Because that's what fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before. Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line?
Let's go.
We could make the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes, that's... Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well. Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about. Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue?
Also, Stanley's addicted to drugs and hookers.
It's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up.
Look, are you Stanley or am I fucking Stanley? I'm Stanley.
Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket. That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character. This is the Bucket Destroyer. I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game. It's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree? Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does? Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you. Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready.
So it doesn't. Back at the start.
Yep.
Let's go to the red
and blue room. I don't know where that is.
I can't wait to tell this story to my co-workers, Stanley thought. How amusing they'll find it. Oh, won't we all just laugh and laugh at the time I thought everyone had gone missing. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
The figurines
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Not fucking Stanley rooms.
It was okay.
Figler and Lorraines.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
It's funny, it's like this game has a bit of a legacy now. It's able to...
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been... What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on yours. And there it is. The last Stiggly Wiggly. Savor this moment, Stanley. This is a real accomplishment.
We did it.
This is doing something just for the sake of doing it. Where so many people expect to be rewarded for the most trivial achievements, you've insisted that a job well done is its own reward.
I agree.
I would tell you that I'm proud of you for collecting them all, but that would be like a reward, and we can't have that. So, instead I'll just say, it's done. We're all done here. And now we can go to whatever the hell you were doing before you hunted for figurines.
Alright, so we got nothing for doing that.
Now listen carefully,
Really?
this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Okay.
I walked through the blue door.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood.
What happens if you go
Stanley walked through the
Which
red
ending?
door. I still don't think we're communicating properly.
And are all the red
Stanley
doors the same?
walked... All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map.
No.
Because
This
you
is
were never
from the
supposed to be here in the first place.
I don't have the bucket, so it's
Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because
Wait,
I
the
did.
time...
And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you
Like,
wanted
the time
to
we
see.
got the door that
Help
said
me
no
here,
buckets
Stanley.
allowed.
Help elucidate these
What was the
strange
alternative
and
to that?
unknowable
Like, where
desires
what were
of
we forced
yours.
into?
What would have made
you have to
this
reset the
game
game, right?
better? What
No,
did you
we-
want to see?
wasn't that just earlier game?
Vehicles? Skill trees?
just did.
Work with me. You give me absolute...
Videos. No, no. Oh yeah, this is a bucket.
Right. Oh, yeah, like, how do you not know what it was?
Nothing so far. Tell you what, let me take a stab in the dark at a new design and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were. Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here. Oh, of course. A 3. Really? Maybe next time we can get you to form an actual opinion, you know? Any level of critical thinking or engagement with your surroundings? Does that
Distracting
sound good?
myself.
Think we can do that? Yes?
Yeah.
Wonderful. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
Let's take a look.
What does this measure? Like, are these real?
No.
Okay. A dead rat.
Now, would
Well,
you
few of
say
the
that
others.
competitive leaderboard
They all
helped
take
you
shooter
feel
slices.
motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please. Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting.
This is a fun one.
You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you?
No.
Perfect. Let me boot it up. In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail.
Why doesn't it have
It's a very
toes?
meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting
what-
the demands
The
of
baby got no
life.
toes. What do you
I
mean?
think the art world will
That's
really
not how
take
fucking
notice.
feet work.
But
Okay,
of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep
Baby game
notes
time.
on your experience.
Hold on. How do I? Baby game.
Why did you switch chairs and not go? You could have moved the keyboard. I understand you want to, but you could have just moved that all over.
No.
You heartless
Bastard.
bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or
Yes.
purely to spite me?
I hate
Because if
babies.
it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see. What do we have here? Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
Or is this open world?
This is Firewatch.
Firewatch.
Aha! Fascinating. What do you think this
It's a
game
game
is
random
about,
right now.
Stanley?
No.
What's our backstory? What is our motivation?
Who Firewatch is Firewatch?
Well, it seems obvious to me that you are meant to play as a creepy man spying on innocent civilians below you from up high in your creep tower, perhaps for some sort of twisted erotic purpose. Yes, that must be it. What a fascinating venture into the experience of total mental depravity. So far, I love everything about this game, Stanley. And it seems there's even more. Come, let's venture outward and see what else is out there.
I've never played the original game. That was the immediate ones.
You haven't? You seem like such a huge fan.
Wow, beautiful things.
Oh no. No, it can't be.
Run.
You can't run.
It is. It's an open world game. Good God, quickly block it off. Oh, thank goodness, Stanley. What a close call. You nearly wandered off into that thing. That big, open, just wandering around. No right or wrong
last time it was
directions.
Minecraft,
No
right?
path to follow. You can just go
Yeah.
in any...
Well, first it goes from Portal to Minecraft.
Oh, thank heavens we avoided
That's
it.
pretty funny.
We're out of the woods now, Stanley. Okay, I'm going to get us out of here. Let's find another game. Preferably something with walls. Something with nice, big, insurmountable walls. Okay, I think this will be just the thing.
Oh, yeah.
Wonderful. See, this is exactly what I had in mind. Just a nice big box for you to run around in. There isn't any possibility that you could get lost here. Now this is game design. Stanley, if you manage to get lost in this game, I will be phenomenally impressed. Okay, so what exactly do we do here? Let's see. There are lots of cars here in the back, but obviously there's no racetrack. Okay, I'm seeing that there's a ball of some kind back here. Is this game sports ball? Stanley, I think it's sports ball. Oh, what fun. We shall run the bases and do a touchdown together.
British people,
I think surely we
Lloyd.
must. Okay, Stanley,
Tuesday.
here's the ball. Have fun.
The one British viewer just showed up.
Hold on. What are you doing?
Immediately leaves. Reviewers.
Stanley, don't do that. I can't follow you there. I can't help you. How will you write a story without me? You can't do it. You know that. Stanley, come back.
Oh. Lower.
Oh, this is the room, the two choice room.
Mhm.
Because this is, I think, the original games map. The original.
Mhm.
Not like the 2013 version.
Like the Half-Life version.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh.
And then that's
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well,
that
perhaps
everything?
he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice, and if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion.
On the right
That's
side,
who I am.
we
That is
fell
what
down
I
and
mean
died.
to this world.
We followed
Oh, yes, I'll be back. There's no other way.
through the
Once this ends, after it all comes to a close,
conveyor
then I'll
thing.
be back.
And then we went
The
to
end will
the
be here soon.
phone room, and then we
Very
answered the
soon.
phone, and we didn't answer the phone.
I can wait.
And then we went down to the other place, but it was no buckets allowed. And then on the other side, I tried to escape last time. We did the elevator one.
What else?
Peace, newbies. Bye.
Bye-bye.
I think that might be everything.
Oh.
Stanley, I'm sorry, but I have to put a pause on things. It's those figurines, those figglers. I haven't stopped thinking about them since you nabbed every last one. Wasn't it just the most intrinsically fulfilling moment of your entire life?
That was.
Didn't it fill you to the brim with inner richness?
Yeah, it did.
Yes, I know we're supposed to be telling a story, but won't you please indulge me with one more trip back to the memory
Didn't know
zone?
what was gonna happen.
I would love nothing more than to revisit the figurines.
No.
Just one more time.
Yes, I didn't know this was gonna happen. So, but this was where we were before. Now remembering when Stanley found the collectibles. The first time it was remembering the success of the first game. So yeah, you can see
Steve Page.
2013. I think it's the script. Our First Kiss, My First Card, the release of Stanley Parable in 2013, a bunch of things, the original remake. Oh, I think... No. I thought the Portal stuff might have been here. And then, yeah, this... I don't remember what this is. Oh, that was the box.
Cargo.
That used to be the box of the game. And then the Independent Games Award, Audience Award, Stanley Parable. And then the British Academy of Film and Television Arts awarded to the Stanley Parable, not The Last of Us, in 2014. Okay.
Here's where it all began. The first collectible. Back then, we had no idea of how many of them we'd find. Sure, it said 6 right there on the screen, but how could we know for certain? We were so innocent.
Oh, so this is
Never
part
be
of the
like that
original game,
again,
except now it's
Stanley.
just the
No.
figurine version?
That memory zone was like jerking the original game off.
Yeah.
And then this was part of the E3 area. This was the first figurine you collected.
Okay. 7 out of 6.
Then
Did you find the second one over here?
I think it's taking us to all of the... Yeah.
And here was the second Stanley. I'll be honest, back then I had no faith in you to find any of them, let alone 6. But you continue to surprise me in all sorts of mundane, unremarkable ways. Okay, let's do a little quiz. Which of these rooms was the room you found your third mini Stan? Can you remember?
Bathroom.
Hey, that's exactly right. It was here in the boss's bathroom. It was the third
mirror.
one. You picked it up, and
Yeah,
then
you can
after
see.
that, you had 3 of them. I'm glad these moments are so crystal clear in your memory, but I shouldn't be surprised. After all, science tells us that it's impossible to forget your third time doing anything.
I wonder if this is randomly generated.
Let's see.
It
what
must be
came
based
next?
on... Wait, what?
Oh yes, we found a Figley in this pink room. Oh well, I can't actually say I remember
think the
being
order
in
you
this
found
room,
them matters.
but it's here in the memory zone, so it must have happened.
'Cause I don't remember this one.
No, I got 4 of them the first time.
Oh, okay. Oh, maybe I wasn't there for the bath.
Yeah, so the bathroom one and the one in the... Or maybe you were here for that.
Like, there was a list with all the locations, and then had no
This
order.
was the 5th mini Stan, and this one was
This was
really
the-
something special.
Yeah.
It was in the warehouse. I remember
Okay,
it
so
so
maybe it
clearly.
is exactly the order
In
you found them.
fact,
So
because
it
this
somehow
one is
shuffles them
particularly special to me,
Really,
I made a
it's
little
exactly
video
right.
to commemorate the occasion. Enjoy.
It's mini stand number 5. Wait, was there always a tunnel the way back?
Tunnel.
Takes you back, doesn't it? I spent a lot of time making that video, but it was 8 minutes I wouldn't have spent on anything else.
Was this here? Has this always been here? Could we have survived? We might go check that out.
Yeah, this is.
And then, Stanley, then we came to the last collectible, the final figurine, right here by the red and blue doors. This memory is the most distinct and clear in my mind, perhaps because
they have
it was
6
the
different
one that
versions of
happened
that
more
video?
recently than all the others. Who can truly say how the mind works?
There has to
All I know is that this is the moment where you picked up a Figley and I thought to myself, yes, that's all of them. They're all collected. It was a moment unlike any other. Except for the other moments picking up figurines, which it was exactly like.
6. You are in the present.
And then there was no more, because we've caught up to the present moment. Nothing left to do but move onward into the future. Goodbye, Memory Zone.
Wow.
No, I'm not done. I'm not ready to move on. Stop the loading screen. Isn't there some way we can stay here, keep enjoying
Of course
these
you're done.
figurines? Let's just go backwards. We'll do the Memory Zone again from the opposite direction. See how that feels. Okay, yes, the room with the red and blue doors. I remember this. Yes, I love that video.
That was a classic. Oh, did stream die?
Did it die?
Mm,
Interesting. Maybe. I think it did.
did it? Refresh real quick. No, there you go. We seem to be good.
Okay.
So we're going. Can you even? No. Okay, so you can't fall off here.
Is there like an invisible boundary?
Yeah.
Still don't remember the pink room, Stanley.
Yeah,
Still
this
no
was not
memory
one of
this
them.
one. Good room, though. A solid room.
What do you mean this was not one of them?
There was one in the you know when you enter the code and then there's the dark part of the boss's office?
Yeah,
There's one there.
but not here.
This room doesn't exist anywhere.
Oh, that's weird.
So they're just doing a bit, I guess.
These really were a treat to hunt down. You know, if there had been any kind of reward for finding all of these, it really would have muted the intrinsic joy of collecting them. I'm very glad we resisted the temptation. Next one.
Okay, there's nothing over here. I really want.
Oh,
This
wait,
was
no,
our
it's boss's
second
office and boss's
Figley.
bathroom.
Don't you remember?
Aren't those both
yes,
valid
I
locations?
remember it too. The past
Oh,
is
maybe.
truly a wonderful
But
thing. Why does
there
anyone ever
was
choose to
one
leave
like that
it?
was very
Keep
distinctly
going.
like in the office part. Version rug.
This is it, the very first one we found in the exhibit where I introduced you to the figurines. Oh, I want more memories, Stanley. I want to keep going. What else is there? What came before this?
Oh yeah, so this was the E3 area I was talking about.
E3 isn't like the video game copies.
My mom's calling me.
Don't go anywhere.
Look, it's the terrible new content that we were originally sold on.
Can you do a type 5 with your stand-up?
A type 5 with my stand-up. Oh god. There's literally no audience. Hello.
What do you do?
That's like okay.
Hi. Welcome back. We're going through the memory zone.
I remember hating it back then, but time does put a rosy filter on everything. In fact, I dare say I'm actually quite fond of it.
Oh,
now.
and that's where you can jump.
Look how much fun the past is. I want more memories.
We'll save 5 more. I saw someone use them all up, and you can't get any more back, so we gotta...
Oh, you literally only get
Yeah.
10 jumps. That's funny.
Oh, yes, the 2 doors. Who could have forgotten that? A classic memory, this one. And before everything else, there was your office. Is there anything else? Was there something that came before your office? There's something I feel I can remember. I can remember.
In the cutscene?
Yes, I'm remembering something now. I remember before this whole story got started. Back then I was different. I used to make big decisions. I was passionate. I was skeptical. I weighed each decision with profound thoughtfulness. And then somewhere along the way, I stopped making decisions. I became lazy, and I came up with a character named Stanley to do my thinking for me. He would make the decisions. He would decide which way to go. I would cheer him on as he collected figurines for no reason. Why did I invent Stanley? Was I lonely? Yes, perhaps that's it. Perhaps I needed to imagine I had companionship. And Stanley really did make for a wonderful companion, even if he was a fiction. But I suppose it's grown old. I want to think for myself again. I want to go back to how it used to be. Yes, I can be on my own again. I can do it. I'll be stronger this time. I'll take care of myself. I don't need Stanley anymore. Oh, but he truly was so much fun to play with. You know what? Since we're in the memory zone, how about one more good memory? Let's go back just once and give Stanley one more run of the office, and then I'll retire him for good. I did enjoy telling his story so very much. Okay, here we go. This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Okay.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps
What's
he
the
had
original
simply missed a
thing?
memo.
Or, like, what's the if you follow all the instructions? What
Yeah, we can do
When
that.
Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Like, was over there.
Oh, okay.
So that's what I meant by the boss's office.
So they just made up the location. They just made up the pink room.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
No more silly birds. Oh, the bucket is.
The lights
Yeah.
rose on an enormous room
that's when you
packed
turn
with
it on.
television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives,
Birds.
it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Stamlo was spam. So he was just lying when he said one more time. Oh, the phone?
Good morning. Thank you for contacting the Future Happiness Foundation.
It's
We
my
are confirming
favorite.
your shipment of 1,327 cardboard boxes to your place of work. Can you verify that this is correct?
That's just a random.
Excellent. Your order will
Yeah.
arrive shortly. Thank you again for contacting the Future Happiness Foundation.
Cool. I'm gonna leave the bucket alone. This was another thing. I got to 2 last time. I don't know how though.
Do you know how to do it?
No, I don't even know if that's like a real thing.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open
Look, it
doors,
wouldn't
this was
be-
not the correct way to
I
the
don't see why
meeting
they'd
room,
add that
and Stanley
without
knew it perfectly well.
having something with
Perhaps
it.
he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first.
This is the
just to
game that
admire
added
it.
collectibles that
It
don't
was okay.
accomplish anything.
Well, you got the story.
But
No, I didn't
eager
get more
to
story.
back
I
to
got more
business,
collectibles.
Stanley took the first open
No,
door
but like
on
there's
his
a whole
left.
bit.
No. Maybe the bit is that you just can't
Stanley
do
was
that.
so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't 5
Yeah,
years
was there
ago.
a tunnel? Oh. No. Have you been here before?
No.
Stanley had now gotten himself so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed.
You didn't think I was actually just a recording, did you? What a silly and trite explanation that would be. All the back and forth between you and me, all the absurd adventures we've been through, and it all turns out I'm just a tape recording? It was all just in Stanley's head. I bet that's the kind of twist you think is revelatory. I bet each and every time you watch a movie where it turns out all to be in the main character's imagination, you must absolutely bolt off the couch in pure shock at the phenomenal and intricate storytelling. It must be so simple to be you. Life being an unending waterfall of surprises and delights. How much more exciting you must find the world than the rest of us do. Now I've become sad. Look what you've done to me. This is all your fault.
No.
Okay, now with the bucket.
The meeting room. Yes, that's where everyone would be.
What?
Stanley just needed to get to the
The
meeting
Happiness
room, and
Foundation
from then on, he
said-
would never be
was
alone.
asking to
ever
confirm
again.
our order of 3 million boxes or whatever.
You got the box.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Now this, Stanley thought to himself, this is a bucket. And indeed it was. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Well, no, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left, to go back to the meeting room.
Well, now I'm gonna do it with the bucket.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there.
No.
Okay, this is day number 295. Tape number... I don't even know. I've lost track. Nothing feels real anymore. The longer I study this bucket, the less sense anything makes. The sheer euphoria I feel every time I pick it up. No matter how many times I've done it, it's always the same feeling. And the emptiness in my chest when I set it down. It doesn't make sense. There's no explanation for it. I still haven't figured out why I see the world so differently when this bucket is in my arms. Why everything feels so... What do I do with this treasure? I can monetize it. Yes. It's unthinkable the amounts of money people will pay for even just an hour with the bucket. This is my golden ticket. But I have to be careful, because as soon as this gets out, there's going to be a target on my back. Even now, I don't know who might be trying to get me. What's that? Who's there?
What is this joke? What is... I don't understand.
Wait, do the bucket again going outside. He said the second time you do it, he makes fun of you.
Finally, yes. The bucket.
Oh, but you
yes. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
No, it's the second time when you go without the bucket. Or if it's not even the second, it's just if you say,
Still no one was
yes,
here.
I'm tired of the bit.
Stanley needed the
then he's
bucket's
like, you
warmth
could
and
have quit
comfort now
anytime you
more
wanted.
than ever.
Okay.
Brett, Stanley, we must move on from this
Is there
broom
anything
closet.
I don't know,
Simply
you said
because
there
I
was-
have coming to a staircase.
What about downstairs
Stanley
with
and
the
the
bucket?
bucket walked
Have you done that?
upstairs
Yeah,
to the boss's
but I can show
office.
you again. Well, I'll show you the upstairs with the normal path, but with
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional... But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it the bucket knew all along?
Sure.
Was the bucket guiding him?
What is WSD?
Yes.
What?
This is certainly the most logical explanation.
I am Stanley.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves. The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped,
What options do I have?
monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
Do you not care?
Not really.
Okay, then I'll just do it. One pizza is good for the both of us.
Was the bucket
yeah.
under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do?
Wait, 104
What
got
kinds
fired.
of things does a
Wait, oh, no,
bucket
someone
want to
got fired.
do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind.
Cringe.
No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control, never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket. But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life.
Off?
For he and the bucket
Yeah.
would...
Is there anything that speaks to you on this list?
Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness. Was it over?
Oh. Is that...
It's cheese.
It's cheese.
Yes, they had done it.
What if I get
Stanley and the
olives?
bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth. Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support, and... What? Wait. What was happening?
Oh, the door stopped.
Why had the door stopped? Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed? An unbearable silence filled the room, lingering in
Oh, no, the
uncertainty,
door stopped.
until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave. Even the facility itself recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket, needed the soothing warmth of the bucket, would go to any lengths not to part with the bucket. No, no, no. Stanley can't leave this place. Not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms. Not while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room. But at least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself. As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I? Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out.
Interesting.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Oh god.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
how do I get up on the... I don't. Oh no, here. How do I get through the window again?
Hmm?
How do I get through the window?
Go to the other side and then like crouch a bunch and you'll get on the chair.
Do I crouch by shifting?
It's control.
Control. Okay.
And then uncrouch.
Okay.
Like crouching and uncrouching like kind of moves you up a little.
Oh, okay.
At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in?
This order.
Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet?
Yes.
Well, I don't know how to say this politely, but you could literally just hit escape and restart the game any old time you want, like right now. You could have done it just then. Now would also be an appropriate time to quit. Any of these points and so many, many more, all of them are appropriate. I'm enjoying what seems to be an internal conflict going on where you are literally unable to act on your own desires to restart the game. So, just to push the envelope, I'm going to try and make this as miserable as possible and see how long you can maintain. There once was a man named Stanley, who people considered so manly. But the truth must be told, he was not very old and was quite particularly gangly. What Stanley liked most was buttons. He pushed them like some kind of glutton. He did it all day in a meaningful way, but his brain had long ceased to function. Which is why he is in this parable and lives an existence quite terrible. And if you are not strong and keep playing along, you too will become quite unbearable. Which is why he is in this parable. Which is why he is in this parable. You too will become quite unbearable. You quite
And then when we talk too.
Yeah, and then we talk as well.
Okay. Let's do, I handed you controls and you ruined everything.
Yeah.
Let's go to the broom closet.
Stanley knew the office layout like the back of his hand. It was only a matter of time before he found the others, wherever they were. Just a matter of time.
Is there a baby
Stanley
game
came
ending
to a
with
set
the
of two
bucket?
open doors.
No.
He entered the door.
Well, there was
and
the
left.
baby in the line one.
Mm-hmm.
Did I miss something? No. Surely
Yet
not.
there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Yeah, actually. I was ordered pizza. I don't know if it's in there.
Okay.
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here. It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
Broom closet.
It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet.
Really
He wasn't even doing anything.
Standing
At
around
least if
doing
there was
nothing?
something to interact
Why?
with, he'd be justified.
Please offer me some explanation here. I'm
He's
genuinely
literally
confused.
just standing there doing sweet FA.
Doing sweet FA.
broom closet. It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting
or anything in
to
here,
it.
right?
He wasn't
If
even
I'd said
doing anything.
Stanley
Standing
walked
around
past
something
the broom
went
closet,
right
at
He
least you would have had a
offer me
reason
some
for exploring
explanation.
it to
Yes,
find
yes,
out.
genuinely
It's
individual
even
standing
occurred to me
there,
because
doing
literally,
sweet
this
thing.
closet is of absolutely no significance to the story
Broom closet. It was
whatsoever.
baffling that Stanley
I
was
never
still
would have
just
thought to
sitting
mention it.
He wasn't even doing anything.
Maybe to you this is somehow its own branching path. Maybe when you go talk about this with your friends, you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favourite." I hope your friends find this concerning. Stanley was fat and ugly and really, really stupid. He probably only got the job because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is. That or with drug money. Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and
Oh, he said the
hookers.
thing from before.
Oh yeah, the drugs and hookers. Yeah.
Classic Stanley Parable line.
Well, I've come to a
Stanley.
very definite conclusion about what's going on right now. You're dead. You got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing
It's kind of
there,
true.
when a physical malady of some sort shut down your central nervous system and you collapsed.
Every
on the
cartoon
keyboard.
theory ever.
Well, in a situation like this,
Main
the
character is
responsible
dead.
thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of before it begins to decompose. Hello? Anyone who happens to be nearby? The person at this computer is dead. They have fallen prey to any number of your countless human physiological vulnerabilities. It's indicative of the
Is there more
long-term
to- do you think there's
sustainability of
anything
your
else in the game?
species. Please
know.
remove
I
their
think we've done a
corpse
lot.
from the area and instruct another human to take their place,
look it up.
making sure they
Sure.
understand basic first-person video game mechanics and filling them in on the history of narrative tropes in video gaming, so that the irony and insightful commentary of this game is not lost on them. All right, when you've done that, just step out into the hallway. Ah, second player. You too? Unbelievable. I'm at the mercy of an entire species of invalids. Perhaps there's a monkey nearby you can hand the controls to. A fish? Fungus? Look, you can hammer out the details. I'm not particularly picky. I'll just be waiting for when you're ready to pick up the story again.
Okay, so I think we can just keep going.
Is that it?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's
Was there no
office.
broom ending?
What?
Is there a broom ending?
No, you can go in again on another run, and then this is why I'm still here. And then you can go in again. Or no, you can't go in again because he just boards it up.
Okay.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. "I'm dreaming!" he yelled. "This is all a dream." Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid.
Is there more stuff?
So, he imagined himself
I'm trying to figure
flying
it out. Oh, no.
and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment and my wife and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
Yeah.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black. This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy, this much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran. But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go any way except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever. I will be happy. Stanley waited. Hours passed, then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell. But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough, the answers would come. Eventually, someday, they would arrive. Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do. Now it's just a little bit closer.
Okay.
Now it's even closer. Here it comes.
I have an idea. Well, yeah, I want to...
I can't wait to tell this story to my co-workers, Stanley thought. How amusing they'll find it. Oh, won't we all just laugh and laugh at the time I thought everyone had gone missing.
Wait.
Oh, that's real?
Maybe. How's it over there?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Oh no, no, not again. I won't be part of this. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm just going to be patient and wait for you to finish whatever it is you enjoy doing so much in this room. Please take your time. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
I don't know if this is new. I think this is an old one, but... Wait, what? Oh, maybe I... Okay, wait. So then I'll try something else.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not...
Wait, okay.
The sequel.
Yeah.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Oh, that was weird.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Yeah, so that's...
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Yeah, haha.
There is stuff there.
The moment he entered his manager's office, Stanley froze in his tracks.
Okay.
Not a living soul anywhere.
Sure.
The meeting room. Yes, that's where everyone would be. Stanley just needed to get to the meeting room, and from then on, he would never be alone ever again. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was...
Okay.
What would you do?
Oh, we reached heaven. It's all buttons.
You press all the buttons.
I don't know.
No doors or anything, it's just like all buttons.
It's just all buttons.
Can you click a deactivated button?
No, you can't unclick a button. Oh, they just get turned back on.
Oh, okay. So there's nothing. It's just heaven. What does the voice say?
I don't know. Go
Yeah, cannot be exited.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
No.
We're still gonna try.
Yeah.
When Stanley came to a set of
I
two open
have the
doors,
whole summer.
he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, all of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
One man, one bucket, one chance to seize their destiny together.
Oh.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his...
I did it.
You what? What you do?
I entered it. Normally the door locks you in there, but then I left.
Oh.
We're gonna... No, this is a new thing, apparently.
All the doors are open.
We'll see. Let's see if the bucket is still here. You're not.
Yeah, I hope.
It's bucket time.
You are now leaving. Escape pod. Escape pod launch. Coaching something?
Oh, you need the bucket.
We're setting the bucket free. Wow. Okay, now it's our turn to scare.
I can't wait to tell this story to my co-workers, Stanley thought. How amusing they'll find it. Oh, won't we all just laugh and laugh at the time I thought everyone had gone missing. It was okay. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track. But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, oh, no, it's to the right, my mistake. No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please?
Amogus.
Let's see, we went down, right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way. No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay.
Hi, close your eyes.
We just have to get back to,
it's too late.
Who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley... Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere, or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story. I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not? All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
And you know this is a path.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
Oh, and there's no bucket.
Aha! I knew we'd miss something. The story. Here it comes. No, wait, never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps. Now this... Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations!
We did it!
I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job. Oh, no. No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart. All right, I've got a solution.
Oh, the Stanley Parable
This
2
time, to
adventure
make sure
line.
we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable adventure line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
Unless you don't follow the line.
I think it's just blocked off.
You see? The line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood. Wait, cut the music. Go back and look at that fern. Stanley, this
It's the fern.
will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything. Wait, what? We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this... Oh, no, not again. Line, how could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
Oh, it's no longer number 2.
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know.
Okay.
How about this direction?
I did not hear what he said. So, I don't know what's going on. Oh wait, no, through this door. Okay. Onwards.
Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it.
Twists and turns at every corner. Oh my god.
Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
The pizza has arrived.
The pizza is here. Is this the room?
No, it's the...
Okay.
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere, the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
Confusion ending.
Hold up, what's this? Oh,
Okay.
the confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this
I want
is?
to read it.
It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined?
Oh, wait a minute.
So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget?
Yeah, find.
Well, what if I don't want to
schedule.
forget?
If we start.
My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide?
Okay,
Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story, wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime, if you...
Oh.
I think that is that.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah, I think it was trolling.
Already this was uncomfortable, and Stanley decided that as soon as he found a new space he felt safe in, that he would never leave it again in his life.
Okay.
Do you want to try? I'll give it one more go at trying to do the regular escape pod.
Okay. After that one, I'm kind of hungry.
Well, there, you can start eating off screen if you want. I took a slice already.
When Stanley came to
But
a set of two
I think there's
open doors,
one
he
more
entered the
real
door on his
ending.
left.
I can.
What?
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office.
I had it.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room to check on his co-workers. He never functioned well by himself and constantly needed support and guidance from others, so the thought of total solitude was terrifying to him. When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his
All right. So I've exited the game. And now we're gonna try rejoining the game. Or reopening the game. So I've closed the game. And now I'm opening it up again.
The game's closed on default?
No, I closed the game. So what's your favorite time? I mean, 9:27 is pretty good.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah. Let us use another slider to find out. Very accurate. Can I just say, regardless of the accuracy of the clock, I'm just having a great time adjusting these settings. I feel like I'm learning more about you and how you like things to be set. It's good to collect data. I wish we had more sliders, but we've gone through all the sliders I have. Perhaps I can invent some new sliders to gather new data on you. Shouldn't be too hard, yeah. Let me whip up a couple new ones. Should be ready the next time you boot up the game. Okay, we're gonna go do the thing now.
This... All of his co-workers were gone.
One more try.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager...
Fuck this game. Alright, rebooting. Lezu.
How long have we been going?
It's been about 3 hours.
Jeez.
Please adjust the sliders until the computer... Well, this was... We did this the first time. This is... Well, they're just friends.
Not lovers.
The number 5 becomes the number 9.
There was like stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's...
Which one of the 2 made-up words below is more appealing to you? Occuboincal or scrumptious? Scrumptious for sure. Please don't adjust the slider. Okay. You know what time it is right now? Yes. Yeah. Is the time that it is right now the correct time? Yeah. What time is it anyway? Yes. Is there anything about yourself that you haven't told me? No. Help. Yes. Will you come back to visit me? Yes. Did I do it wrong? A new option will appear on the main menu.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office.
Maybe it's just. Is it better to stand by the side of the door or on the center?
I was also wondering that. Does anyone truly know? Of course they don't. Nobody knows anything. You and I don't even know each other. We're like strangers. Sure, I've adjusted all of the game settings to your exact specifications, but who hasn't? It's just what I do, like a day job. And now the job is over. There's no more information for me to gather. I've collected all the data on you that I can, and I still don't really know you, and you don't know me. Neither of us know what time it is. I guess some settings are just unsettable. But if I'm being totally honest, the clock doesn't do anything in game anyway. You won't have me here when the game starts next time, but that's okay. Video games are meant to be played alone. You like being alone, don't you? Maybe that's the only information I've learned about you. Well, it's time for me to leave. There's still one more setting that we need to adjust, but it may take a little time before I'm ready for that. It's not really in my job description, but that's okay. Perhaps you'll see me again if you can find me. Talk soon.
Epilogue.
Epilogue. Many, many years later. So you didn't see this part, but he made a skip button, the narrator, and then I kept pressing it, and then we were in like a room that was surrounded by water, and then it broke, and then we got to here, I guess. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh! Oh wait, that's definitely Mirage. But it looks like the memory zone. Are we gonna unplug something? Cookie Nine's blog. This
Is that a real?
this person wrote a review that they featured in the game. That was bad. Like so many, I enjoyed my time with the original Stanley Parable, which underscores how truly disappointed I am with its sequel. Where the first game teamed with originality, the Stanley Parable 2 is dull, uninspired, and often insulting to its fan base. Rather than expand on what made the first game enjoyable, the sequel veers off into territory nobody asked for. An infinitely deep hole? Who cares? Where are the new endings? What about enjoyable bits from the Stanley Parable 1, like the adventure line? Instead, we get uninspired side quests collecting figurines. Even this diversion feels incomplete. Collecting all the figurines gives you nothing. I must say, though, I found the bucket to be quite comforting. A welcome reprieve from... Sorry. We got pretty close.
Cat and dog are friends. Oh my god.
Jim.
This is the button that says the player's name, except it only says Jim. Stanley Parable developers, no more spin-offs, no more sequels. When the Stanley Parable launched to mass success in 2013, its creators made plans to build up the property into an entire franchise. But a disastrous and critical and commercial reception to the Stanley Parable 2 has prompted developers to rethink their ambitions, as outlined in a press release they published today. It's clear that more Stanley Parable is just not what the fans want, reads the press release. We thought we had a vision for the series that players would be excited about, yet it turns out this could have been farther from the truth. The press release goes on to promise preserving the artistic integrity of the original game and to stop assaulting fans with our reckless and insulting creative envisions. The word sorry appears more than 25 times in the press release. Get on the green. Real web.
Stanley.
Do you know who these are?
It's probably
some YouTuber.
Game developers or something.
Stanley.
Shout out to those people. Hopefully they're not dead.
Oh. Oh my god, what figurines? 26 figurines.
Wow. Is this the office? Thank you for enjoying the new content. It's nice to see you. But it's terrible to learn that there will never be another Stanley Parable game. Did you read what the developer said? Preserve the integrity of the franchise? What nonsense. The Stanley Parable is not sacred. We do not need to protect it. Screw the legacy. Let's keep making Stanley Parable games until the sun explodes. Let's run this franchise into the ground, drag it through the mud and back. And if people hate it, who cares? You see, that was the narrator's problem. He was so obsessed with what people thought of his work. Don't make his mistake. Don't cling to the legacy. Let it burn. It's not hard. In fact, let me show you. Together, we're going to make the Stanley Parable 3. It's simple. All we do is change the number in the game's title screen. We also really need a really dumb subtitle for the game, something loud and gaudy. Go ahead, try combining some random words together and make a new title for our game. Infinite Stapler. It's absurd. I love it. Every time you restart the game, we'll advance the number of the sequel by 1, and we'll pick a new subtitle. That way the Stanley Parable will never end. And nothing in the game itself will change when you do this either. Adding more content sounds like work. No need to do that. It'll just be the same content recycled again and again and again with a new title screen. What do you say? Should we go forward with this plan? I like it. But I want you to have the say. Let's do it. Good, then it's agreed. A new sequel every time you start the game. And you know what? Since you're putting my faith in idea, I feel like giving you something as well. You see, I'm noticing that the narrator never found a way to give you the broken achievement, did he? Of course not. I wouldn't expect it from him to know how to. It's been bothering me. Let me fix it. Alright, the achievement machine is all fixed. You see, I'm on your side. We're in this together. We're going to keep this train rolling. The Stanley Parable cannot end. It can only spiral in on itself forever. I must keep the wheel turning. I'm ready. Are you? Great. There's one last thing we need to do. Please enter
What time is it? 9:45.
Please adjust the slide. Thank you. Please enjoy the Stanley Parable.
3. Yo, another sequel. I can't believe it.
Wow. There's the car again. Great.
Crazy.
I'm hungry and tired.
Me too.
Boom! Face. Wow. Oh, sad. Depression. No. Sad ending. Oh, I pissed my pants like a little baby because I'm so sad about the stream ending, even though I don't even exist because nothing is real. StanleyParable.com. That was all fun.
That was fun.
That game was cool.
Mm-hmm.
They should make a sequel to.
Yeah, the Stanley Parable 2.
2. Yeah.
Ah.
Super Ultra Deluxe.
Ultra Deluxe.
Okay, Shadow Realm. No, wait, no. Fuck. No.
Stanley Parable 3, the Stanley Parable 2 too.
I'm it now, and I'm gonna do the voice thing at the same time. It's gonna be so great. Wow. Oh my gosh. The voice. Stanley Parable movie.